Hey everybody! I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit here. I think that's probably good. I just want to make sure it's straight because it bugs me when things aren't quite straight. There we go. We are looking good. Gonna give it a minute. I just want to make sure that that my video quality is okay. We are storming here. We look okay because I'm pulling this up on my computer so I can watch. But we look good. I was afraid with the rain. It looks like it's 9 o'clock at night outside. It's so dark and so rainy. I was afraid that my connection wouldn't be good enough because sometimes on a bright and sunny day, my connection is like, you have problems. So anyway, here we are. Here's the card we're going to be creating today. It's a shaker card. I know it makes me dizzy sometimes when people shake things on camera, so I'll try to shake gently. We'll move back and forth instead, maybe. So we're going to be doing a shaker card, and this little pumpkin guy here is from the Boo Brew Die Set. I love this die set. It makes this cute little pumpkin, and I have this other card. We're not going to be creating this one on camera today. We're going to be doing the shaker card, but I wanted to show you that this Boo Brew Die Set, you can create pumpkin spice or something a little bit spookier. So I love that with one die set, you can create cards or projects, tags, whatever you want to create for Halloween or just all the way through autumn. So this is the card we're going to make today, but don't forget that with that Boo Brew die set, you have the option to create something a bit spookier too. So I have all of my goodies ready to go to make this card here because there is some die cutting involved and I didn't want you to have to sit here and watch me die cut. So I have them, let's see, I have everything that I need here. I have a little dish. This is what I do when I create. I cut everything I need, and then I even put, these are the embellishments we're going to use, and then some double-sided adhesive. I have all of that in a little jar here. And then I also have some of my card base is cut, and I have my acetate and everything ready to go. So let's take a quick look at all the products we're going to be using, and then we'll jump right in. So I've already shown you the Boo Brew die set. We're creating a 4-bar sized card today, so I'm using the 4-bar card die set from Trinity Stamps. Absolutely love this die set. This is one that I've been reaching for more and more often lately. I like that it's different, it's not quite the size of an A2, and I just like that it's a little bit smaller and a little bit cuter. My sentiment is from the Beautiful Breeze stamp set, which has this gorgeous kind of little array of leaves blowing through the breeze, but I loved this sentiment, the autumn greetings, and the coordinating die set. Let's see if I can find those two dies here. I love that Trinity Stamps does this. There's dies in here that are going to cut out that sentiment, which makes it a lot easier. I love sentiments that have kind of this little white border around it, and so when there's a die there, it makes it so much easier. My pattern paper is from the Rainbow Brights paper pack. I think this one is currently sold out on the website, so I've grabbed, you can substitute using this oh my goodness, this is the Autumn Rainbow Slimline paper pad. Some of these colors are similar, so like this yellow or orange, they're similar, but I wanted a more orangey color, so that's why I went with the Rainbow Brights, but use what you have. If you have this Autumn Rainbow, use that instead. So those are the products we're going to be using. I'm going to set these to the side, and we will jump right into the card. I'm going to set this up here so you can see that throughout the video. That's the card we're going to be doing. I'm going to adjust that light a little bit because that seems a bit bright. And remember that you can chat with me as we're creating, because I do have this video up on my laptop. So if you have questions or anything, feel free to ask. Let's go ahead and get started by creating the shaker base. For some reason, I always start with my backgrounds. I can't tell you why, but I do. So let's start with that. So from that 4-bar card die set, I cut 2 pieces. I cut a piece of the Rainbow Brights slimline paper with the largest stitched die, and then I also cut this scalloped frame from the 4-bar card die set. And then I just have a piece of acetate. This is not cut to size. It's a little bit bigger than what I need, but I like to keep my acetate a little bit bigger and then trim away the excess. So let's build that shaker. This is not going to be a super fancy shaker. It's a standard. If you've ever made a shaker, this is probably similar to what you've done. I like to use double-sided adhesive over glue in this case. Oh my goodness, my phone just vibrated and I could have sworn that I took it off of vibrate so that it wouldn't come off of the phone stand as I was recording. But anyway, I like to use double-sided adhesive because it dries instantly, whereas if you're using glue on acetate, it takes a bit longer for it to dry, and I always end up getting glue stains on my acetate. So just going around, this is 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. It's super strong, easy to tear. Love this stuff for creating shaker cards. I'm going to grab my bone folder and just kind of press that tape on, because this brand of tape happens to be a pressure activated tape. So you need to press that in place. Friend, you make him stop. My son is homesick from school today for the very first time. He had a little bit of stomach distress this morning, early morning, like 3:30 in the morning. So I know the last couple weeks it's been a bit quiet as I've done my lives, and now today I feel like it's not so quiet because I actually have a small child in my house again during the day. It's weird. Alrighty, so I've removed the backer of that adhesive, and I'm going to place this right onto this piece of acetate. I'm going to try my best to line up at least 2 of the edges so that it makes it easier for me, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think I'm going to have to trim. Alrighty. Again, I'm going to flip this around to the back just because I don't want to press in any of that stitch detail that's on here. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors and just trim around the excess. I find that this is easier than trying to get things lined up perfectly. I would much rather go around with my scissors and just trim away the excess. This is pretty thick acetate, but oh goodness, a piece just went flying across my desk. Use whatever you have. If you have packaging from stamps or toys or something like that, use what you have. I always like to use what I have in my videos. So now we have that piece of acetate on there, and that's forming the front of the shaker window. Now I need to add some foam tape. So I just have some foam strips here. And these are skinny strips, which is great because this is a skinny little shaker window. So I don't have to do any fancy cutting. I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around. Now, just like with any shaker card, you want to be sure that your elements are going to be contained in the shaker. So I am butting up my tape to make sure that all 4 edges are meeting, and that way none of my little shaker bits will escape. Just using scissors to trim. Almost done. I know this is like the most tedious part of creating a shaker, especially on video, is watching somebody have to cut down the strips. But there we go. That wasn't too terrible. That was pretty fast. So what I like to do now is add some powder around the inside of my foam tape. If you've ever felt foam tape, the inside is still a little bit sticky. You know, the front and the back are usually the stickiest part, but the side still gets a little bit of sticky on it. And I hate when I create a shaker and the embellishments stick to the edges and don't move freely about the shaker. It makes me think of an airplane. Move freely about the cabin. So I'm taking my embossing powder tool, and I'm just going to run that powder right along the inside of my foam tape. I haven't removed the backers because I don't want to get any of this powder onto the actual foam tape itself. I just want it to be any of that excess. I want to make sure that I remove that stickiness. And then I'm going to test that. That feels pretty good. The corners usually are what gets me, so I'm going to go right into those corners and make sure that I have those. There we go. Now we can remove the backer of the foam tape. Throw those away. And I'm going to add my embellishments in. Today I'm just using the glass slipper embellishment mix. These are so pretty. They're like those flat little confetti style. They're not sequins. I think they are just literally confetti is what they're called. But they're not completely see-through. They're kind of, I mean, just like, you know, how if you think of a glass slipper, how you think of kind of a frosted glass, that's what these look like. And I thought they would be really pretty in today's card. So you can put your shaker bits inside the well, but then you have to line this background up perfectly. And I am not good at lining things up perfectly, ever. It rarely takes me just one shot to line something up. So I'm going to dump some of these, oh goodness, that's way too many, some of these glass slipper embellishments onto, this is going to be my background panel. This is going to be the back of the shaker. And I'm just kind of going to lay this right next to this for reference so I know about how many shaker bits to put in here. I feel shakers always kind of conflict me a little bit because I tend to either have way too many or not enough embellishment. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to kind of shake that to flatten that out, make sure that none of them are really piled on top of each other. And then, excuse my head if my head gets in the camera, I want to make sure that this is lined up straight and right in the center. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to go all the way around and really press that down. And there we go. There's our shaker. And you can see some of them are kind of sticking, like that one's kind of sticking a little bit to the edge, but for the most part, they are free to move about the cabin. So that's our background. I can go ahead and actually glue that right onto my card base. Now, speaking of my card base, I guesstimated the size of my card base. So this background piece is cut with the biggest die in that 4-bar card die set from Trinity Stamps. And I like to have a little bit of a white border. I thought that would be really pretty, especially to complement this white border here. So when I cut my card bases, that is my least favorite part of card making, is card base work. I hate cutting them, I hate scoring them, I hate folding them. So around the first of every month, I take a ream of cardstock and I'll make like 100 card bases. So most of my card bases are A2 sized. I don't create many slimline cards, so I don't create a whole bunch of those, but this was an A2 sized card, and all I did was just lay my pattern paper piece on there. I took this over to my paper trimmer and just kind of chopped off one side and part of the bottom, and boom, there's a custom sized card base. I think that it's about 3 3/4 inches wide by about 5 inches tall, maybe a little bit taller than 5 inches tall. But there's my card base. Let's go ahead and build that fun little pumpkin now, because I love that pumpkin guy. So again, I have all my pieces here. I die cut these using the, let's find that. This is the Boo Brew Die Set. So I have my pumpkin base, my little, well, I should say my mug base, I suppose. And then I have my little pumpkin pieces. And there are 5 pieces that are going to, I'm not even sure what you would call them. The detail, the pumpkin detailing. This guy goes over here actually. And I'm just going to add them onto my pumpkin mug. Hello everyone. Amy, thank you for being here. I know Jax is super sick. Well, he's not really anymore. He feels better now, but I didn't want to be that parent who sends their kid to school when they've thrown up twice in the middle of the night. So he's home with me today. And hello to you as well, Tanya. So this Boo Brew Die Set, I'm just going to line up. I like to use a liquid adhesive, but use what you have. If you like to use double-sided adhesive better, use that. But like I mentioned before, I am not good at getting things lined up. So liquid adhesive has become my friend over the years. I used to really dislike liquid adhesive, and I would stay as far away from it as I possibly could. But over the years, I've learned to love it because I can shift and kind of move things the way that I need them to be. I'm going to start over on that other edge there. That way I can put that centerpiece in the center. I'm afraid I'm going to not get these lined up just perfectly, and I'm going to end up out of room or have too much room on the side. So let's go ahead and start over on this side now. Coming in with the, I guess this is the fourth piece, and then I'll do that middle piece last. Oh goodness gracious. All right, almost done. Here's the centerpiece going in. Oh, I think I did pretty almost okay getting things lined up. I wonder if that adhesive is still, that's pretty strong there. That's okay. In the end, I have tried, I'm a perfectionist crafter, but I have tried to realize that it's just paper, and my friends and family know that I made it myself, so if it's not perfect, it's okay. Hi, Marcy. I love fall. Today, I said in the beginning of my live, it kind of feels like fall with a bit of rain. It's pouring outside, and it's gross, but it's cool. I have my fans on in my window, and for the first time, it's still been like 85, 90 degrees where I live, and I live in Pennsylvania. It should not be this hot, but it is. I'm going to go ahead and add these little cinnamon, I think they're supposed to be cinnamon sticks. Don't kill me, but I don't actually drink. I don't love pumpkin flavored. I love fall because all the pumpkins come out, and I think pumpkins are gorgeous. I love to look at them, but I don't drink pumpkin. And I don't drink coffee either. So I think that these are cinnamon sticks because I don't think pumpkin spice comes in a stick. But I'm just going to glue these on to this little white backer here. Love that this little white piece is included because that's going to give me, these little white sticks or the little brown sticks that I cut are hard for me to see, and so having this white piece is going to allow me to work with these as one piece rather than as two tiny little skinny sticks. And I cut them from two different colors of brown cardstock. I know, no coffee. I adult with Coke Zero. That is my source of caffeine. I never got into it. My dad was a single dad growing up, and he didn't drink coffee, and we didn't even have a coffee maker in our house. So I never got into it. The smell of coffee actually gives me a headache, so I just didn't do it. And when I went to college and I was working like 50 hours a week and taking 23 credits a semester, I said to myself, well, I need some kind of something to keep me going. And then the Diet Coke came into play. I mean, it's not like I probably don't drink it as much as coffee drinkers drink their coffee. Like, I don't start out the day with one, but I have one with my lunch probably almost every day. It helps me get through that like midday hump. I'm just adding all of these little pieces onto my little pumpkin spice, I guess latte. Could it be a latte? It's not a latte cup, I don't think, but for me, it'll be a pumpkin spice latte. What's really cute is this cute little leaf, if I can grab it, leaf and kind of vine here. I'm gonna add those on. I'm using my tweezers just because I have large fingers and they get in the way. Tweezers help me a bit. We're almost done. This card is super simple, and if you kind of modify it a little bit, it could definitely be one that you mass produce. I don't know if you'd want to make like 30 of them, but if you do it without the shaker, you could definitely, you know, create like 10 or 15 of them and put them in a little set. So this is going to go right on here. That is, I think it's so adorable. here's my sentiment. And again, this is from the, let's grab this, the Beautiful Breeze stamp set. Love that Trinity Stamps often has dies for some of their sentiments in their set. So I stamped the Autumn Greetings with a light brown ink, and then I used those coordinating dies, cut them out, and here we have a perfect little sentiment with that cute little white border around it. I'm going to grab, where is my foam tape? Here it is. I'll grab some foam tape, pop up this little pumpkin spice latte here. Here's a trick that I like to do. Even though I have added a strong liquid adhesive to glue my whipped cream and my little cinnamon sticks here, I like to add some foam tape right across where I've added those elements, I guess you could say, because I think it helps give more stability, and it's just like a little lifeline. Just in case my glue isn't quite dry, my foam tape is going to hold those in place. I absolutely love that the cup is shaped like a pumpkin. I think it's so cute. I'm going to add this guy towards the top of my shaker. I want to make sure he's kind of centered-ish. The good thing about acetate is it lets me kind of peel up if I don't get things straight, which I rarely do on the first try. And then I'm going to grab some more of those skinny foam tape strips and go right across this sentiment here. That looks good. I have a little bit showing, so I'm just going to cut that off. And almost done. I know, like I said, this part is so tedious, but it's going fast enough, I think. There we go. All right, I'm going to put the greetings on first so that that can be lined up near the bottom. I try to kind of have things, how this whipped cream is almost touching the top. I'm going to have my greetings at the bottom. Almost, some of it's going to go down lower than others, but I'm kind of lining it up so that I imagine a straight line growing across my sentiment so that that's about as far away from the bottom as the whipped cream is from the top. I think it just helps make things look a little bit more even. And then I'm going to tuck this guy in here, trying to make sure that he's kind of centered too. There we go. That's it. That's the card. I'm going to hold that up because those glass slipper embellishments, they're so pretty. See how they're kind of like creamy, like a frosted glass? Absolutely love that. So I showed in the very beginning this Boo Brew Die Set, and as cute and adorable as this is, you can completely go a different way and go spooky. We're not going to make this card live today, but I used patterns from the Rainbow Brights paper pack, from that Autumn Rainbow paper pack. And then instead of, you use the same die to cut out the mug here, the pumpkin mug. But instead of using the stitch die to add the pumpkin detail, you'll just use that little jack-o'-lantern face. And instead of the whipped cream, I use the ghosty for the steam. And I think this is so cute. So this is a different kind of way that you could change up this card if you didn't want to do the shaker to make it easier to mass produce. This is what the card would look like without the shaker. So I still popped up this outer frame on foam, but if you wanted to go even quicker, you can skip that step too. So I hope that you're inspired. I love inspiring you guys and showing you different ways that you can take a project and either step it up or step down in this case if you want to create a bunch of cards quickly. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to catch the replay, if you came in a bit later, this should be on the Trinity Stamps Facebook page, and it will also be uploaded to YouTube shortly. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Let me check my calendar because I'm not sure of the exact date, but I do think that it is the, could it be the 7th? Yes, already. Oh my goodness, October will be here. So I'll be back in October in 2 weeks. I'll see you guys then. Thanks so much. Bye, you guys.